Never judge a book by its cover. This story is about a young boy named Jacob. Jacob lives with his mother, his grandmother, and his two sisters in this apartment. Their family does not have a lot of money. His mother works two jobs at a diner and as a local janitor just to be able to afford to pay rent. His grandmother stays home all day just to be able to watch his two younger sisters because they cannot afford to put them in preschool yet. Jacob often goes home after school to teach his younger sisters what he learned in school so that they have a better chance of getting a better education. Jacob is a very good boy. He does what he is told, and he's also a very good student, and his teachers notice this. He has lots of friends and is very social. One of the things about Jacob that his teachers notice the most is that he never complains. He always works as hard as he can to make sure that every assignment is done with completion and correctness. Jacob works well with others and also by himself. But what a lot of people don't know is where he's from. He does not tell about his family life at home because he doesn't want people to look at him differently, and he doesn't want his friends to make fun of him for it. But oftentimes, his friends invite him over for dinner. That is the only meal that he has that day. Jacob is a very smart, intelligent boy, and from all of his tests, it is shown that he's very academically on track for his age. His teacher one day went up to Jacob after a very hard spelling test and told him that he did very well, the best in his class. Jacob smiled and was happy about this result since he studied very, very hard for it. His teacher then told him about a spelling bee competition tomorrow that the school was hosting. She told him that he would be a good fit for their team that they are sending in to compete. And they need one more student because another student called out sick. Jacob, of course, shook his head in excitement and said, yes, I would love to do it. He went home that day, so excited, grinning ear to ear, telling his sisters and his mom and his grandma all about his new adventure that he was going to have tomorrow. He ate the little dinner that was left over for him and told his mom and his grandma that he was going to stay up all night to study for this test. His teacher had given him a list of words for him to use and study that could be on the test. When everyone was asleep and the lights were off, Jacob went to the window to go use the light from the street lamp to look at his paper, when all of a sudden he noticed a big ball of light. He didn't understand what this was until a few minutes later he smelled the smoke coming from the building. The building had caught on fire, and so him and all of his family grabbed whatever they could and they got out of the apartment, safe and sound. But Jacob wanted to still go to the competition because he knew how important it was for him and his team. So he did not tell his teammates about the fire because he was ashamed that he had nowhere to live now. At the competition, his team was doing great. They were beating teams left and right till finally it was just them and one other team. The state championship was on the line at this point. It was Jacob's turn to go next. If he was able to say this word, spell this word correctly, they could win it all. But of course, Jacob's mind was not very focused on the competition, as he did not know where his family was going to live, if they were ever going to have a roof over their head again, where his next meal would be. So he went up and he spelled the word incorrectly by just one letter off. His whole team looked at him and he started crying. No one talked to him for the rest of the day, and he went home without speaking to any of his teammates. Jacob was very sad. The next morning, the students read about the fire and realized their mistake, and realized they did not take Jacob's feelings into consideration. And so they talked to Jacob and they apologized for their actions and wished that he had told them about this situation. This just goes to show that you should never judge anyone because you don't know what they're going through.